Two games launched recently. Both hype, both had massive player counts at launch. One got absolutely roasted by critics and players, mixed reviews, and there were complaints everywhere. The other one launched with excitement, awesome reviews, and a very passionate fan base. Fast forward to today, the one that got roasted, which we already know as Crimson Desert, is thriving. There's a growing player base, very positive on Steam, and sold 5 million copies in just 27 days. While the other one, Where Winds Meet, down 94% from its peak. And nobody's talking about why. The gap comes down to something most people don't even see as a problem. It's not entirely bad game design, it's not purely greedy developers, but it's mainly the players, their communities. It's called toxic positivity, and it's silently killing games we actually care about. So what is toxic positivity when it comes to video games? It's when a community decides a game is untouchable, that any criticism, any honest real feedback is an attack, that if you're not praising the game 24/7, you're a hater, you're a troll, or you just need to get good. I get it. We've all been there. Someone says something negative about a game you love and you immediately get defensive. That's human nature. That's normal. But here's where it becomes a problem, when that reaction stops players from giving developers honest feedback. Because when developers aren't getting real feedback, they have no reason to fix anything. They see happy reviews, a positive community, and think everything's fine. Meanwhile, those same players are quietly logging off and are never coming back. That's not passion for a game. That's pure denial. Let's talk about Where Winds Meet. And I want to be upfront, I actually like this game. The combat is arguably one of the best things to come out of an action RPG game in a long time. The main story has heart, and the world, the ancient China wuxia setting is stunning. But here's the thing, I made a video giving my honest take on it, and a lot of people didn't want to hear it. Dislikes and comments telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. The usual. But honestly, those reactions said everything. Because the loudest defenders of Where Winds Meet had already quietly given up on the game and had moved on themselves. The game peaked at around 251,000 players at launch. Right now, while recording this video, it's sitting at roughly 14,000. That's 94% drop. Player count has been falling 20 to 30% month on month. Some drop off after launch is normal. But this isn't a smooth, healthy decline. It's a free fall. And what's the community's response? Complete and absolute denial.
The game is still amazing. People have short attention spans. Wait for the next update. You're just a doomer. The game isn't dying.
Well, the Hexy update patch 1.4 is the biggest content since launch. New region, new bosses, new story quests. On paper, that's exactly what the game needed. But the numbers aren't recovering, and instead of the community asking why, the vocal fanboys are still in full defensive mode, shutting down anyone who raises a concern. Real players have been pointing out for a while now, we have been pointing out for a while now, about the very poor endgame loop, heavy energy gatekeeping, and way too much filler content. And that's not hate. Those are legit players with legit concerns telling the developers exactly why they're leaving. But when the community's response is, "Stop complaining" or "Just take a break," you're not helping the game, you're just helping it die quickly. Now let's move on to Crimson Desert because this one's a great contrast. When it launched, the reception wasn't great, and honestly, I wasn't a fan either. I actually got more hate on my Crimson Desert video than my Where Winds Meet video, just for pointing out all the glaring issues on the post-launch version. Again, post-launch version. And many had similar issues. On Steam, for instance, there are endless complaints about controls, confusing early game mechanics, messy UI, performance issues, and I could go on and on with the endless complaints. But unlike Where Winds Meet's situation, nobody stayed quiet about it. People were loud on forums, YouTube, Reddit. The feedback was everywhere, and you know what? Pearl Abyss were taking notes. They listened, and they took action. Controls were confusing, patched. Mounts not permanent, fixed. Bosses too frustrating, difficulty adjusted. Pearl Abyss will also soon add a full difficulty selector, a boss rematch system, overhauled inventory management, and much more. Real changes, not just small tweaks. The result? User scores jumped, Steam reviews flipped to very positive. The game hit a new peak of 276,000 players and stayed at 6 figures for 3 weeks straight. And that's just on Steam. But is Crimson Desert a masterpiece? My honest opinion, not really. Story is mid at best. The main protagonist, Cliff, is flat out boring. The controls are still, for me, overly complex. But overall, I'd call it a fun, well-packed, mid-tier game. The kind of game you'd sink in 200 plus hours into because there's just nothing else better to play, and not because it's a Game of the Year contender. But anyway, the criticism was loud. Pearl Abyss took notes, and they moved fast. And now, the game is improving, growing, and thriving. So what's the difference between these two games and their communities? Crimson Desert got real feedback. Loud, sometimes harsh, sometimes unfair, but real. Meat, in contrast, has a huge portion of its community that treats any criticism like a personal attack. So the developers aren't getting the full picture. The players who are leaving aren't making any noise, they're just gone. And the ones still posting are saying everything's perfect, all the while selling their accounts on social media. That's what toxic positivity actually does. And it doesn't just make discussions uncomfortable, it cuts off the information developers need to keep their games alive. Meat is a good game. The combat alone puts it above a lot of competition. The story has real moments, but it's losing players because nobody wants to have the honest conversation about what's not working, the endgame, the pacing, the grind after you finish the story. The conversation needs to happen loudly enough that Everstone Studio actually does something about it. Pearl Abyss took a game that launched rough, and instead of getting defensive, they just worked. Patch after patch, fix after fix, and Crimson Desert has gotten better. Meat launched to a genuine excitement, hit 250,000 players, and has dropped off to a fraction of that, while the loudest voices keep saying, "It's fine, Hexy will save it, everyone's coming back." No, it's not. It's not fine. The numbers don't lie. Everything is not fine. And the first step to fixing it is for players and creators to actually say that out loud. Not to trash the game, but to give honest, constructive feedback so it can survive. Toxic positivity isn't love for a game. It's the opposite. Real love looks like telling developers what's broken, what's missing, what drove you away, and trusting them to do something about it. Pearl Abyss proved that's possible. Now it's time for the Meat community and for Everstone Studio to take notes. Drop your thoughts in the comments, even if you disagree. That's kind of the whole point. Let's have a real conversation. I'd love to hear it. See you in the next one. Time to touch some grass.
Betrayed me.